Hello, this is Savannah from Chicken Soup for the Truth or Soul 2, and today we're going to be discussing the subject of Peter Gabriel's The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Now, this song was made during his time right before he left and had his solo career, roundabout late 1974, before he indiscreetly excused himself from the group without telling the press or his group members, and began his very successful solo career. Now, when I was fast asleep, I used to be so addicted to Genesis and Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins. I was just really swept away. I had no clue. I was clearly caught up in their spell, but that's not the subject of this video today. Now, we're going to jump right into it. I want to tie this song into a Bible verse. Try to find some deeper meaning in it. So the Bible verse we're going to be discussing in relation to the song is taken from Revelation chapter 13, verse 8. And it reads as follows: "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world." So, yes. And from there, we're going to look into a document that I found on the internet talking about the Lamb being slain from the foundation of the world. And I'm just going to read a little bit of it. This is the only verse in the entire Bible that seems to say that the Lamb was actually slain before anything was even made. Because of the world order, my brain defaulted to world order. Because of the word order, we are in danger of asserting something that is both confusing and misleading. We know that God lives in eternity and already knows the end from the beginning. And in his mind, everything has already happened. However, when we are speaking of the plan of God on the earth in time and space, we need to be chronological and accurate. Otherwise, the whole meaning and purpose of Christ and his kingdom, as it is outworked on the earth, is compromised. And then they're going to be going over the different variations of Revelation 13:8, and I don't really like any other translations but the KJV, and from time to time the NIV, but even there I'm straying away from that too. But I like one of these interpretations from the CEV, the third option. "The beast was worshipped by everyone whose name wasn't written before the time of creation in the book of the Lamb who was killed." So this is a direct representation of the Lamb lying down on Broadway. Now, I'm going to play a soundless video of an illustration someone made of the Lamb who lies down on Broadway, because I think it's a little bit more interpretive and explains a little bit more. And I think it's only about like 2.5 minutes, but yeah, I'm going to play that. As you can see, they're starting out with some MK Ultra Monarch Mind Control visualization there. Of course, the light, them and their light. As you know, the light represents Lucifer, the god they worship, and to me, that name sounds like it's kind of demonic, but that's a part of the so-called plot of the song, because songs were so elaborate back then. And at this time when the song came out, New York was in its most dilapidated, worn out state, but also in its most authentic and flourishing state, like in terms of fashion and culture. And so, but this represents that time. People would often go to inappropriate films at night. They kind of live in the theater district, kind of live on the sidewalk. It's accurate representation, but, you know, the overarching bigger picture is displaying that all those lambs that were chosen before time even began, like beyond time and space. During that time, people were being snatched from God's graces because of the torment and drugs and alcohol addiction. Everything was pulling them away. So maybe their name was at one point written in the Lamb's Book of Life, but during that time, a lot of God's children were snatched. And yeah, again, they developed this into a really, really, really developed plot, almost like a show itself that could have been on Broadway, the entire album. And I'm going to look into some of the tracks in just a second, because I noticed something there that was interesting as well. They're going to move on to the lyrics, hear the song, and that's pretty much going to be it. Also, the instrumentation on the song is out of this world, which is why it got my attention in the first place. As you know, they always like to reference light and darkness in the songs, represents duality. Yeah, you can see in the video, they're just really highlighting the meekness of the lamb, the innocence, and how he's being slain almost, but there's no bloodshed, but he's weary. He's laid down and he's taking a deep rest, deep sleep. Eternally, because it's representing all these people who were just sort of floating through life back then during that time, sort of just aimlessly wandering from God's good graces, like I said. And yeah, I'd say this illustration pretty much highlights the era, the song, what it's trying to depict, but what is actually going on is they're directly drawing from scripture. And I believe it's almost done. Yep, it's pretty much done. He's going to look up into the clouds and he's going to say that there's magic in the air. And they always like to talk about magic for some reason. I don't know why, but the only reason why I could presume is because they're practicing the dark arts. They're practicing witchcraft, you know. I mean, they only mention magic in all these songs now, but this was then. That's 1974. Just think about them talking about magic and music back then. Relatively new, which is, you know, got the crowd probably pretty taken aback and then head over heels, I'm sure. Because a lot of new forms of music, genres of music were coming out at that time. Yeah, now here they're going to talk about the spiritual manifesting into the physical. And the air is alive and there's magic in the air. And to me, that's horrible. And that's the end of that. And from there, I'm going to go into the lyrics. Well, we just looked at the lyrics, but just a quick overview of things that stand out. So the line that says, "It seems they cannot leave their dream," It seems they cannot leave their dream. There's something moving in the sidewalk. Steam. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Talking about some strange goings-ons, paranormal activity, possibly. Or just crime, criminals, moving in the shadows, but this song transcends time and space like the Bible verse, like us on this planet, before we were even created, being written in the Lamb's Book of Life. It takes a transcendent route. It takes a transitory route, rather, that ties in with this nighttime's flyers feel their pains. Well, yeah, you know, you're going to feel the effects of your sins while you're still here on earth. You may not be able to interpret that as such, but that's what it is. Excuse me. It says drugstore takes down the chains, but the word chains sticks out. And not only the rhyming effect they're doing here, which is spellcraft, spelling, casting the spell. Chains, a lot of people are going to be in chains for eternity, or they are right now from that era, because they let themselves get swept away into the air that they're talking about here in the song. And the light, see, brings a stillness to the air, though man-made light at night is very bright. Yeah, more rhyming, you see. A, B, A, C, C, D, D, E, F, G, G. He's doing some sort of like Shakespearean sonnet type rhyming here, and when I look at, just a side note, when I look at all the like Shakespearean like poems and things, I see like a ton of things that have already been written about before. It is true, the rumors are true that he did plagiarize a lot of his work, but it's not only that. When I read the Bible, I'm like, wow, you think he was trying to be like God or something? Or one of his apostles, or one of his like saints or something? Like, what was he trying to be like? Because the way he was writing was just so, it reminds me so much of what's in the Bible, and maybe it's just the sort of kind of English, probably the form of English they were using at that time when he wrote that, and when the Bible, King James Version, was interpreted. And the last thing that sticks out to me is him calling out to the Lord. At the very end here, he's like, Lord knows what I have done. Well, yeah, that's some sort of like a throwaway, like, as if he's just kind of like, oh, Lord knows what I've done. Like, he really could care less, probably, but at that time, it's just like a little, sneak that little tiny smidget in about Jesus, Lord, because the time period, maybe you don't want to, people were going over the edge from the mid-60s forward with this New Age stuff, so maybe it was a nod to that. Maybe he was slowly losing his religion or something. I have no clue. But I'm going to go back to this page for The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Head down to the track listing, because I want you to see that he did the duality thing again. So for who knows how many sides, I guess that means there was 2 different records. Because it's saying side 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm kind of young. I'm like, what is this? Side 2, 3, 4. So, you notice he did the reverso thing here. Number 1 track was The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and you head down to the bottom, almost near the bottom, down to side 4. What do you see here? Number 3 on side 4, it says the light. The light dies down on Broadway. I've never heard the song, and I don't really want to hear it, and I can't find it. But, yeah, know what that means. And it's capitalized, too, like it's God. Light. I said what that light means. Now, what Bible verse tells you a little bit more about that light and what that means and how it ties into that lamb? So, the beast out of the earth, Revelation 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. Really, huh? And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. A threat to Christians. It's coming. Don't doubt that it's coming. Don't doubt it's coming. The light dies on Broadway. Sort of like a blackout type of thing, and they did have a blackout later in that decade, but not in that area, but yes. Yes. Another couple tracks that stand out are It, the last track on side 4. So, it is referring to probably like demons. That's why they made that movie, It. Stephen King, that clown. A lot of people are scared of clowns, and they knew that. A lot of people are scared of clowns, and they knew that when they made that, and they knew that when they remade the sequels. The other track that stands out is the first track on side 3 there at the bottom, Lily White Lila. I'm not even... I mean, what? Come on. I don't even know who that is, but I know that these people worship, all these different variety of deities, and I'm just like, they're just, like I said, coming out of the woodwork at that time now. Something I didn't notice before. At the top of this page, it says, in the recording section, no complete performance of the album has been officially released, except for the majority of the band's performance from the January 24th, 1975, at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. A lot of times these people like to hold a concert in these Masonic, auditoriums. It's just incredible. Nobody really seems to care. It's like that Cranberries song. I don't remember the name of the song, but it's talking about unhappiness and asking if anyone cares. And I really don't think so at this point. I really don't. So I really don't think there's anything left here for this video but to play the song. Just a little bit. Like, I don't want to get a copyright, but I'm just going to play, like, a little bit. Just to let you know that just how this song is spellcasting. I'm not going to play too much because it will get stuck in your head. So probably like 10-15 seconds. And then that's going to be it. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the wrong video. I didn't realize that I saved this. Well, apparently I misspoke earlier. I did find the light that lies down on Broadway. And now I need to find the lamb that lies down on Broadway. Apologize. Yes, this is the performance here. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. Oh, yeah. Let me reload the page. Skip a little bit ahead here. Oh well, okay. Just want you to hear how good this pianist is. And you see, there's a little bit of a trick on YouTube where you can see, if you have the eyes to see, you may notice sometimes if you pause a video on YouTube, you can see like the graininess of it. Even though it's 2020, it doesn't matter if we have HD, they still have this sort of glitch where if you pause the video and browse through, if you pause the video and, if you pause the video, I don't know why it's not letting me do that. If you pause the video and scroll through, if you can see in the spirit, you can see a lot of stuff. And let's just say that you're not just seeing blurry images, seeing the spirit into the spiritual world. And these people are, you see his eyes are black, his soul's gone. You can see that he's shape-shifting sort of throughout the performance. The guitarist, his face didn't look right. See the guitarist with the orange shirt, his face doesn't look completely human. You see this guy's covered in demons. This stuff. Look at what's on him. He's just so, this guy is drowning in sin. But you see when I stop browsing, then it looks normal. And then you can see everything when you start browsing it again. It doesn't look that normal. This guy, you see down in his torso and crotch, you see all this. It's just, yeah, I'm going to have to play a little bit. You see he's got the ladder back there, too. Look at that. Masonic. Now, this isn't at the Shrine or Auditorium. I know for a fact because I used to listen to this music and this video a lot, and they recorded this in Sweden, I believe. Late 70s, later after his departure from Genesis. So anyway, I'll play it just a little bit. Probably just skip forward, probably. Goodness grief. If you think any of these people were just playing by themselves that way, and he's singing that way, the way he is, alone, you got another thing coming. This intentional stage setup here with this ladder, do you know how important the ladder is in Freemasonry? It's so important. You can look back in like 400-year-old paintings and you can see the ladder imagery, and oh my goodness.
Brings a stillness to the air.
We're not going to talk about whether he's a male or female. You can see some hips on him too. Never thought he was a female till now.
Whitewashed victim as the neons dim to the code of white. Imperial era socket as it's a daylight spray on him.
Point it up. Masonic sign. Completely black soul. He sold it for fame.
Suzanne Ty, walk all down things. Money, beyond neon. Catman's velvet glove, sound on horn, and the sawdust kid spits out his scorn. Yeah!
Okay. Yeah, with that, I'm out of here. I think the chairs have been hard at work for a very long time, and it ain't over until it's over. All right. Until next time, God bless you in Jesus' name. Have a great day.